Here we go then, back into the tram lines. Are we going second time around? It looks good. The answer to that is yes. We are green and racing down in towards turn number one. Great start for Anagnostiadis. Simons Torres follows through as they go in towards turn number one. On the outside there, Ella Häkkinen. I'm not sure where she's dropped down to. P4 for Häkkinen is down the inside. Here comes William Marshall. William Marshall for South Africa, who was on the podium yesterday, now up into P2 at the start of this race. He started this one on the third row of the grid, so already gaining positions. There is a green flag out there, meaning there is a yellow flag as well, and there is a cart that has stopped. You can see there, not going well at all. It's the number 24 that is not gone out of that one. I think that's Sadamat Soy, unfortunately. Sadamat Soy out of this race as well. That is a disaster for the driver from Japan, and also one of the Discover Your Drive initiative drivers as well. So that is a huge, huge shame for Sadamat Soy. But the race continues, and down in towards the final chicane, it is still James Anagnostiadis who leads the way. Happy with qualifying. He was happy with the time. Can he convert that into qualifying heat wins here today, and that final win just like yesterday? We'll have to find out. But William Marshall here, 3 places gained, has closed in and is looking just that little bit threatening here. The South African certainly putting in a good chunk of times on that first one. Has closed right in to just 0.2 of a second now ahead of the race leader. Simons Torres still there in P3 as well. Egon Brodotti now is under investigation, so he will have to be careful for the rest of this race. Well, Ella Häkkinen still there in P4. This is still a good start for Häkkinen as she tries to hold on to the rest of the grid. We go on board with Angelina Simons down in towards the final chicane. You can see there how close Marshall is to the back of Anagnostiadis. Not able to get the move done, though, as they head through that final chicane. Back over the line, you can see her tucking in now behind that steering wheel, but it's not going to be enough because under pressure down the inside, Ella Häkkinen gets up into P3. Beautifully timed, beautifully executed. Häkkinen there in P3 now. Well, race continues. We're on lap 3 as Toby Gale sets the fastest lap of the race now. 56.640, looking strong. Toby Gale at the moment, currently a little further there in the field. I think it's around P6, P5 at the moment. There's been some timing there just going to the top there. I think Dole Kaur and Cabela just been added a lap at some point, so they've gone to the top. Now it sorts itself out. So yeah, it is Gale there in P5. Sanjana Dandu now under investigation, a driver of the number 37. Sanjana Dandu yesterday in the final had I think a relatively good result, but still so many drivers struggling over the course of this weekend. Sujana Dandu finished in 21st yesterday. That's fellow sister of the Dandu sisters there, coming from a long ways away here to Valencia. Toby Gale, another fastest lap of the race now, there in P4, is, well, now piling on the pressure to Ella Häkkinen. Has got past Angelina Simons, pushing his way forward now. This is what he did in Cremona. He's going to do it here in Valencia, down the inside. Nicely timed. Is Häkkinen going to try and fight that one back? I thought she was, and just thinks against it. Stays there in P4 now for Häkkinen, but still a good result. Back on board with Angelina Simons tucking in. You can see here right behind Ella Häkkinen going into that final chicane. No chance for a move just yet, just sticking behind, not able to use that momentum. You can see there just the exit. Well, you can see there she's just not got the power there to close in, and that's that slipstream kicking in. You can see Ella Häkkinen was right on that rear bumper of Gale, was able to get that toe out of the final chicane, really just drive through, and you can see that Simons was just dropping back a little bit. It's closed back in now through this infield section. Nicely done, and you can see how much physical work it is on a driver, just constant left, right, left through that infield section. As well, there's been a change for the lead here. Marshall is up into the race lead. I'm not sure when that happened, but Marshall now leading the way ahead of James Anagnostiadis. So this is the first time we're seeing Marshall leading a qualifying heat this weekend. So let's see how he deals with the situation. Well, he's going to deal with it by an overtake down into the chicane, where I think this is how he got the lead, which is down the inside there into that final chicane. And as we just cut away there, we could see that Anagnostiadis was just repaying that favour, but it's all kicked off again now because Gale's got up into second place now. Toby Gale up into P2. There are yellow flags in that final chicane. There are drivers who have become a little bit tangled up together, so we do hope they are okay there. We'll find out who they are in a moment, but action here at the front. Marshall leads once again. Gale there in second place, from Anagnostiaris in third. Hakkinen still sits there in P4 as they go wheel to wheel. And I'm just going to have a look who has possibly come a cropper there at the final chicane. Possibly Oscar Gallin. He's just dropped down several positions into 31st, and it may have been with Sanjana Dandu because both of them are now out of this race. Here is a replay of how Gale got through. Nicely timed, just down and towards turn one. Not wasting any time there and just taking full opportunity of the gap that's opened up. Hakkinen putting on the pressure now to Anagnostiaris. He's not in a comfortable spot here in P3, knowing that Marshall and Gale have both got through. So at the moment, South Africa leading the way ahead of Thailand. Australia in third place at the moment in the category, but it's Belgium's Flavio Carrier who is fastest at the moment. That is all the way down in P18, so showing that the pace is all the way throughout this grid. As there goes James Anagnostiaris down the inside through turn number 12. Nicely timed and executed. Moves back up into P2. This time now, needs to focus as we'll be going on to the last lap this time around. And, well, the gap's open up just a little bit. He needs to work together with Toby Gale now to try and close up that gap. Will he get the toe? Will he get the bump draft down this start-finish straight as we go on to this final lap? And crucially, will Marshall go defensive? If he doesn't, he might be okay here because he still has a little bit of breathing space between himself and the drivers in front. But Marshall, who's up 4 places in this race, started P5, is on form here. Oh, looking to the inside there was Anagnostiaris. It looked like Marshall just left a little gap there for James to think about sending it down the inside. Thought against it though at the last moment. And well, this driver's looking for a change here. There is the send though. There's the send down the inside, and now Gale's got the inside line. He goes wheels to wheel with Marshall now, and he squeezes his way through in towards P2. Brilliant stuff there from Toby Gale. Now Ella Hakkinen might have a chance here as Anagnostiaris goes defensive. Gale takes the normal line as they exit through. Is it going to be a run to the line? Gale gets alongside. It's going to be a photo finish. It is James Anagnostiaris ahead of Toby Gale. William Marshall finishes in P3 ahead of Ella Hakkinen. Angelina Simmons finishes in P5 from Egon Prodotti. Leonardus Peruzzi finishes in P7. Vanessa Shilkanate finishes in P8. Raipol finishes in 9th place ahead of Kees Aziza in the top 10. Well, James Anagnostiaris there, really well-timed overtake to retake that lead. Well defended into that final chicane as well, all the way to the end. Got to give it to Toby Gale as well. 4 places gained. Really, really strong showing there from Toby Gale on the second day of racing. First day didn't go fully well, but there's your top 3. James Anagnostiaris, Toby Gale, William Marshall finishing in P3. Superb result from the top 3 in the first junior race of the day. Ella Hakkinen as well, only dropping a couple of places, but still a top 5 finishing there in P4. Certainly the result she would have wanted. Angelina Simmons finishing P5 ahead of Egon Prodotti, Leonardus Peruzzi, Vanessa Shilkanate, Casper Reipold from Kees Aziza, Dinia Islamov from Conor Clancy, Isaac Say from Michaela Hart, Axel Nocom rounding out the top 15. That is a good drive there for Michaela Hart. 6 places gained for the driver from Ireland. Only just in her first year of karting, only a year of karting completed, so fresh to the karting scene, but certainly on the international stage here, that is a good run of positions. Sujana Dandu finishing then in 16th place ahead of Sevilla Papaznaya. Flavio Carrier from Amaru Adilenzen in 19th place, 6 places gained. Nilis Malik finishing in 20th place. There though, James Anagnostiaris, pole in qualifying, flag to flag finish, but certainly he had to work for that one in that race. Many, many lead changes throughout it. So let's see the highlights from that one. Initially, good getaway for Anagnostiaris, Simmons and Marshall. But keep an eye on Marshall here. As you can see, switch to the outside there. Cuts back in, tries to get down the inside, not able to do so. Häkkinen not getting the getaway on the line, dropping to P3. There was Marshall going down the inside of Angelina Simmons. That was for P2. This is from Simmons' point of view there through the pinch point of turns 3 and 4. And again, just not pushing too hard. There was the retirement for Sada Matsui. Unfortunately, the driver from Japan out on the opening couple of laps. Again, Ella Häkkinen getting past into P3 on Angelina Simmons, trying to fight back to her original starting spot there of P2. Another angle of it, just down the inside through turn at number 1. Again, well executed. It's a tricky turn to get down the inside on that one. It's so easy to outbrake yourself, run out wide, and then get the switchback move done on you as well. And that's what we've seen thick and fast throughout this one. Gale started to make his way through the field as Marshall went for the lead on Anagnostiadis. This really shook the field up a little bit because wasn't able to break away. It brought Gale into the fight, and this is where Gale went for that move. He would get up into second place past Anagnostiadis. So, yeah, it was really on the back foot here for the Australian. He fought back, though, in the dying stages of the race, and I thought that move there might have been it, but just on that final lap, same place, down the inside through turn number 12. Just got it done down the inside of Marshall. Gale followed through as well as they all went offensive into that final chicane. Anagnostiadis right on that inside line there. It compromised his exit, gave Gale the opportunity to go wheel to wheel here, and you can see they're neck and neck across the line